What's going on, guys, and welcome back. And in today's video, I'm going to be going over exactly how to bulk properly, to put on weight properly, and make sure that you are not gaining fat in the process. Make sure you actually get the body you want because, let's be honest, if you can't tell by this first photo here, I look like the Jet Puff Marshmallow Man. We were cooked. It was really bad. So obviously now I'm on a bulk and I look much, much, much better. I've been in the gym for around 5 years. I've learned from my many mistakes, so let me use those mistakes to teach you guys how to do this properly in the right way. And we're going to go over everything from training to diet, nutrition, supplementation, monitoring progress, everything you need to quite literally coach yourself. Now, I know you're probably busy. I'm busy too. I got clients to work with. So let's really just get into this. So the first thing is going to be with your training. Now, with training, I recommend a 4-day or a 5-day split. The 5-day split would be PPL-UL, which is push, pull, legs, upper, lower. A rest day in the middle, in between the push, pull, legs and the upper, lower, and then a rest day after your second lower day. Now, push is just chest, tricep, shoulders. Pull is back and biceps, and then legs is obviously legs. Upper is just upper body. Or you could just do upper body rest, lower body, upper body, lower body rest. Just those 4 workouts set in there. And regardless, each muscle group should get hit twice per week. That's the whole point of this. Hitting each muscle group twice per week should be our goal at a baseline. Now, some people might require more or less volume, but this is the general rule of thumb and what I advise you to follow. Now, with rep ranges, again, we're going general rule of thumb here. I don't know you. You don't really know me probably. So I can't give you, this perfectly specified number, but 6 to 10 is going to be your baseline. Train in that 6 to 10 rep range. And when you're doing it, use progressive overload. So the way to do this is really simple. You're going to pick a weight where you essentially fail the set within this range. So let's say you're doing, bench press and you're doing 135 and you get 8 reps and you fail. That's good. Okay. You're in the rep range. So now you're going to do 135 every time you bench until you get 11 reps, because then you're out of that 6 to 10 rep range. And then from there, you're going to increase to 140. And, let's say you get 8 reps, do it again, 9 reps, do it again, 11 reps, boom, increase the weight again. And that's how you're going to progressively overload. And if the progression is consistent, as long as form's not breaking, obviously you want to have proper form, but as long as you're not changing your form in the process, you're getting muscle. Like, there's no way around it. I can't stress this enough. If your lifts are progressing in strength, you're gaining muscle. That's just how that works. There's no way to not gain muscle if you're not progressing. So with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and move into the next thing, which is activity. And this is really, really, really important. Now, there's 2 categories we're going to go over. And the first thing is true cardio. The second thing is casual activity. I want to start with casual activity. This is literally just cardio you get from day-to-day activities with a low zone 1 heart rate, which is essentially your daily step count. Now, what I advise you to do here is hit 8 to 10,000 steps a day, which is going to ensure that you increase the amount of calories you burn, and it's also going to help with digestion. Getting those steps in is huge for digestion, which if you're trying to bulk and not get fat, you need your gut health to be in check, and we're going to talk a lot about that in this video. Now, with that being said, the next thing is going to be true cardio. Now, true cardio is any form of actual cardio, the elliptical, the Stairmaster, incline walking, biking. You've heard of all of it, but the truth is it doesn't matter which one you do. Now, you're probably thinking why, but the truth is the only thing that matters, because this is how you track how many calories you're actually burning, is the time and the heart rate. Now, for bulking, whenever you're trying to gain weight, a general rule of thumb that I notice is the best for digestion and the best for slow, consistent weight gain is 4 sessions, 20 minutes, and 130 to 140 heart rate. So this will put us in zone 2 for heart rate, the middle of zone 2. And that's going to make it so that, again, you're not over stressing your body, but you're still burning calories and you're still improving your digestion with that activity, which leads me into the next thing, which is actually your calories. Now we'll get into calories first and then go over the macros and then carb cycling, which is a little more advanced, but you guys know I'm the best at explaining shit, so I got you covered. Now, with caloric intake, this is obviously the most important part, but it's not as complicated as you probably think. To find your caloric intake, you first need to find your maintenance calories, which is actually a really simple process. You want to look up TDEE calculator. You can see I linked the photo down here for you guys because I'm the best. But you want to plug in your info, and the number is going to auto-populate. So it'll tell you what your maintenance calories are. These calories are going to be split up into 4 to 5 different meals. This is a baseline again. Some people might require different spacing, but this is ideal for digestion at a baseline. But now, you're going to take that number first from the TDEE calculator and add 200 to 300 for it. This is your surplus. So if the number it gives you is 2,500, start out at 2,700 calories divided by 4 meals, which is going to equivalent to, I'm not good at math, like 680 calories. Something like that. Nobody check me on that, please. I don't want to look like a dumbass. But, so what do we do with those calories? That's where macros and carb cycling come into play. Now, the macros are a bit more complex, but again, nothing we can't explain, right? Come on, guys. For your protein, carbs, and fats, protein should be around 1.2 grams per pound of body weight. This is going to be ideal for putting on muscle, but not too high to the point where it's going to make it so that you're super full throughout the day and your digestion tanks. Along with that, your fat should be around 0.4 grams of body weight. Again, this is for men, but that's going to help with your hormone support. Make sure everything is moving smoothly with that. You have no thyroid issues, and you're not putting on excess fat because of any issues there. We don't want that to happen. That shit sucks, to be honest. I've dealt with that. And the rest of your calories should be carbs, fruits, and vegetables. Simple, right? The general structure of each meal should be a protein source like chicken, beef, egg whites, steak, protein powder, a carb source like oats, bagels, rice, potatoes, a fat source like peanut butter, almond butter, avocado, cheese, dark chocolate, olive oil, coconut oil. You get the idea. And then a fruit or vegetable. I don't need to list off fruits and vegetables. We're not children. We're grown men. You can figure that out on yourself. But carb cycling as well is what we're going to bring into next. And this is going to improve your digestion and appetite to assure that the bulk goes smooth. This is how we're going to set this up. So you want to have 100 to 200 more calories on days you train and 100 to 200 less on the days you rest. So remember we said if your maintenance was 2,500, your surplus is 2,700. So your training days should be 2,800 calories and your rest days should be like 2,600 calories. Now on those training days, the extra calories should literally just be carbs. There should be a little more carbs in your diet. On the rest days, we want to bring carbs down and then increase the fats that you're eating throughout the day. This is going to make it so that you have less food volume, which makes it so that it's easier to digest, and you don't have an influx of carbohydrates because you're not going to use them. Carbohydrates are your main fuel for training, so since we're not training, we don't need to have as many carbohydrates. There's no need. We're not training, so it's not important there. And again, it's not easy, but it's simple, right? These are some examples of just meals I have for clients here. It's my guy Alejandro, and the next thing that brings me into is something, again, that's very important that I can't, curate for you because I don't know you, but I can give you a good idea. So supplementation and digestive support. If I gave you an exact supplement protocol without knowing a thing about you, that would be pretty stupid. But here's what I can do. General supplements that just about anyone should be taking: creatine monohydrate. Everyone's heard of creatine. I don't really need to go over that. But magnesium glycinate. This helps with my sleep quality, your digestion as well. And then fish oil omega-3 to help with heart support. And again, there's thousands of benefits of fish oil. Omega-3 is something that most people are deficient in, so I almost always advise people to take that. But now we're going to get into what I call the digestive buffer. Now, again, this is not advice because, I don't know you, but this is going to allow for more digestive room, and it helps with stomach and gastrointestinal issues. Apple cider vinegar is going to be huge. Personally, I have half a teaspoon with 3 of my meals. It helps with digestion a lot. And to be honest, it doesn't taste that bad. You're a grown man, grow up. And along with that too is aloe vera juice. Liquid aloe vera juice will again give us a lot of room for digestion. This is something I don't use currently, but I have used a lot in the past. When I struggled with digestive issues, I recommend around 2 ounces a day in the morning. And then I mix that with a splash of lime juice as well. Again, just another tool to add in there. This isn't required, but it does help with your digestion a lot, which makes it easier to put on muscle because you can eat more food and you feel good. The next thing is how to monitor your progress, right? Because the thing is, you're going to make progress when you're eating like this, but how do you get that progress to stay consistent so that you're still putting on muscle, still looking better, but again, not putting on fat? Well, this is actually relatively simple. One of the most important pieces of the puzzle is looking for visual and ROG change. So your visuals, the way you look, and ROG, which is weight gain, the amount of weight you're gaining per week. So first off, I didn't write this on here, but I want to say, you should track your weight daily and then go by the weekly averages. So these numbers I'm going to tell you are for the weekly average of your weight, not the daily, because there's a lot of fluctuation in there. For the ROG, the main goal is 0.5 pound per week, okay? If it's more than that, don't move the calories and slightly increase your activity. So, get a couple extra steps, maybe add 5 minutes of cardio a day, something super simple. It's not a big deal unless you're gaining like 3 pounds a week, then you're really fucked up. But, you just want to keep it moderate. If you're losing weight or you're less than 0.3 pounds up, increase the calories by 1 to 200, because then we are just not in a big enough surplus to really see any growth whatsoever. And that's what we don't want. We want a balance between not putting on fat, but also actually growing. Now, the goal is slow and steady, which allows the look you see to the right, which I can't really see it, but we'll get over there. And along with that, the visuals, this is really important. The goal is to maintain almost the exact same level of leanness. Now, If you're putting on a tiny bit of fat, that's normal, right? But if abs blur completely and fat increases substantially, a mini cut might need to happen. Now, a mini cut is something that's completely fine. You know, I do that as well. Eventually, you're going to have to go through a little stage where you get leaner and then continue to put on weight. But, you know, you shouldn't have to do this until like at least 6 months into your bulk. So if you put on fat quickly and your abs have gone away, if you had abs to start with, then there's a serious issue there. But this is an inevitable part of the journey eventually. So don't feel like you're stressed out, you know, if you have to mini cut after 6 months. Now, here's some examples of this. You guys can kind of see this in action. Now, this first one on the top left, this is my guy Jordan. We did this in 3 months working together. And, you know, I'll be honest, he has very good genetics. Not everyone's going to respond like this, but we put on 15 pounds in 12 weeks while getting leaner. This is my guy Matt. Again, you can see he is a very experienced lifter. He looks insane. He's a crazy physique. But, you know, before working with me, he didn't have that level of leanness, and now he's able to grow while staying even leaner and having an even better physique. My guy Bo, this is his bulk on his own, and this is his bulk with me. Again, you can see visible abs, looking better, and this is my guy Speed, which we did this in 6 months. He's actually 15 pounds heavier on the right, but you can see he has more visible abs and he's leaner. Notice how there's not really a difference in leanness, and he's put on a lot of muscle to achieve the physique he got. And all these guys struggled with sitting in a plateau, feeling like they weren't able to grow without getting fat. But the truth is, as you guys have seen from this whole video, that's not the case. You don't need to put on a ton of fat to gain muscle. I cannot stress this enough. So what can you really do with all this information, right? Well, there's one thing you can do. There's two things you can do. The first thing is to use all this information and apply it to yourself and get the best progress you can. You know, it's not going to be perfect. It's not going to be curated to you. But if you can't make progress with this video, then you haven't listened, because the truth is this information works, and it is the information I have discovered and the system I've used on myself and my clients to change their lives. And the other option you have is, if you don't want to go about all of this on your own, you can either book a call with me through the link in the bottom of this video or in my bio, or you can shoot me a DM on Instagram to chat more about working with me. Now, you know, if you're interested in working with me, obviously one of those two methods is the best. You know, if you have more questions or you don't just want to hop on a call instantly, feel free to reach out to me. But, you know, if you have any questions in general, please reach out. I want to hear from you guys, and I want to know what I can do to make these videos better so that I can give even more information so that you guys can get in shape with or without me. But genuinely, boys, I appreciate all of you watching. Again, if you have any questions, drop them in the comments, shoot me a message. And if you'd like to book a call with me, the link is going to be in my bio and also in the description. I appreciate you guys. I will see you in the next one, and we'll talk soon. Peace.